In this video, I will show you how to do maintenance of CPP hydraulic pump electric motor and basic understanding of CPP system. This is pitch lever controller with pitch indicator. This is responsible for your movement, whether to go forward or astern for the ship. Here I show you the location of the hydraulic pump and hydraulic power pack unit. First, let's have a better understanding of how the CPP hydraulic system works. So, what is a CPP? CPP stands for Controllable Pitch Propeller, which simply means that the propeller blades are variable and that can be moved at any desired angle. Here I'll show you some explanation of the basic principle of the CPP system. So, this is your basic CPP system illustration. So, as your pitch lever controller is moved, pitch lever controller is the same principle as your accelerator of your car or your motorcycle. Whether you go forward by pushing forward the lever or you go astern by pulling the lever back. In here you can see the actual angle of the propeller. Whether forward or astern, a signal will be sent to your control unit. Your control unit is your main brain of the system. Your control unit is the main brain of the system where input and output is being processed. And from here, a signal will be relayed to your hydraulic power pack unit. Here you have the hydraulic power pack unit, which consists of cooler, filter, directional valve, hydraulic oil, and hydraulic pump. Where hydraulic oil will be pumped from the tank through a hydraulic pump to your directional valve. This is your hydraulic directional control valve. This control the direction of your hydraulic oil. And from your directional valve, hydraulic oil will be pumped through the oil distributor. Now you have this oil distributor with feedbacks unit. Your oil distributor is responsible for the correction of the right amount of hydraulic oil that will be sent through your propeller, whether to move forward or astern. Here you have the simulation of how the propeller of CPP unit works. Via a rotating pipe shaft. This is your gearbox along with your rotating pipe oil shaft line. In between this line, you have like a pipe that hydraulic oil can pass through this shaft line. Now, after the pitch lever controller demand for a certain position of the propeller, some of the hydraulic oil will be sent back to your power pack unit. And a signal also will be generated for your mechanical pointer for indication if what is the propeller angle. And a potentiometer will send signal to your control unit for a electronic indicator, which is your pitch indicator. Here you have the pitch indicator with lever. And from there, the control unit will compare whether the pitch lever demand was obtained. Also, is it the same with the pitch indicator? And now, from there, you have a basic understanding of how the CPP system illustration works. Now let's talk about the advantages of CPP unit. Easy maneuvering for the ship. Yeah, that looks easy. And now let's talk about the disadvantages of the CPP unit. Expensive due to more equipment and high maintenance, and complicated system with more equipment. Now we start with the overhauling of electric motor of hydraulic pump. Before you start any maintenance, especially electric stuff, make sure to switch off the main breaker and you put a tag on it. If possible, put a padlock. Also put tag on the main starter. Now before you start overhauling, make sure to confirm that there is no voltage on the line. By using a multi-tester, measure each line by voltage AC to confirm that there is no power to any single line. After confirming that the voltage is out, start removing the wire. And don't forget to put back the cover for the protection of your connection box. For safety reason, always make sure to put tape to your supply line. Now, after securing your supply line, start removing your securing nut. And now, start installing your lifting tools or chain block in line to the pump. Make sure to have a 2 balanced lifting point for the pump so it can be easily lift up and without damaging your coupling. Now, after successfully lifting up the motor out of the pump, install another chain block to pull out the hydraulic motor out of the hydraulic power pack unit. Now carefully lower it down and secure it in one place for a better overhauling and more comfortable place. Now put it in a stable position and start removing your fan cover. And before you pull out the coupling, make sure you measure the shaft and the coupling distance so that the next time you put back the coupling, you have your own reference. Now, start removing the fan on the top. If it's hard to remove, you can spray a lubricant to it so it could be easily took off. Now we will prepare to remove the coupling. Before doing so, make sure to remove or loose the securing screw. Use an Allen wrench to remove it. Before pulling the coupling, make sure you put a bolt with a center punch in the middle to prevent damaging the shaft from bearing puller. Now we pull the coupling with the bearing puller using a impact pneumatic drive for easy pulling. Now you can start removing the top cover or the bearing housing. Start loosening the 4 bolts. Then on the front plate, bearing housing, start removing all the 4 securing screws with an Allen wrench. After successfully removing all the securing screw, tap it with a very small amount of force to start pulling out the front plate or the bearing housing. Now remove the bearing holder. Now let's remove the top cover or the top bearing housing. After successfully removing the top cover, slowly slide down the rotor out of the stator. Now, we will start removing the bearing. Here we will show you the two different methods that we can use on board ship. First, with the bearing puller, and secondly, we can use the hydraulic press. Remove the lock ring. Again, make sure to put the bolt to the shaft to prevent it from damaging. Now install your bearing puller. Make sure it's in the middle. And use a pneumatic impact drive for easy pulling out. Now, we will show you how to use the hydraulic press for removing bearings. Adjust the desired height of the hydraulic press and make sure that it's stable and not moving. First, connect the air hose and close the bypass valve. Make sure that the shaft is in line with the hydraulic press. Next step, we will show you now how to install the bearing in two methods. First, by heating up, and then by hydraulic press. Make sure to use the bearing recommendation by the manufacturer to any pump or electric motor. Here you heat up the bearing for at least 70 degrees. Don't heat up too much, otherwise lubrication from the bearing inside will fill off. Before installing the bearing, make sure that the shaft is straight up vertical so that the bearing can just slide down. Then right away, cool it down with air hose. Now we will show you how to install bearing by using a hydraulic press. Again, make sure that the shaft is aligned with the hydraulic press. When the surface touches the bearing, then stop pumping. Release the pressure and remove the rotor. First, spray it with quick drying chemical to remove any dust, water accumulated in your stator windings. Now use a spray chemical to remove any moisture or condensation from your windings or your rotor housing. This chemical protects your housing from any rust and moisture accumulation by applying a small film of oil to the surface. After doing so, put a halogen lamp to dry out the windings and to eliminate any moisture or condensation on the windings. After that, we test the installation resistance from line to line and line to ground by using a Megger tester. Make sure to remove any bridge between the line. Here we do line to line. OL means open line or infinite resistance. It shows a very good resistance. Now let's check line to ground resistance. After confirming that all windings are in good condition against the ground or against line to line, you start assembling the rotor by first assembling the top cover together with your bearing housing. After tightening the securing bolts, check if it's rotating freely, and now slide it slowly to your stator. Then put your 4 securing bolts. Now, prepare the bottom plate, clean the bearing housing, and check this rubber seal if it's still in good condition. Now slowly slide the bottom plate to your bearing. Give it a small tap. When the bottom plate is already close enough to the thread, use the securing screw and tighten them equally so that the bottom plate will just slowly slide on to your bearing housing properly. Now tighten all 4 screws. Now we put back the shaft pin, give it a small tap, then prepare the shaft for fitting. Make sure that the groove is completely aligned with the pin. Now, after successfully installing back the coupling, make sure to measure them again according to the measurement that you have measured before you pull it off. Make sure they have the same distance when you remove it and when you install it. Now, put back the securing screw to prevent it from moving. Make sure it's tight. Now we check the rubber insert coupling for any damage. Check visually if there's no damage or any crack. If you see something, remove and replace it with new one. Spray it with quick drying spray. Remove any grease or any dirt. Check the pump if it's moving freely. Now slowly lift up the electric motor. Make sure again you have two balanced lifting points. Now slowly move down the motor to the pump. After you successfully lowered down the electric motor to the pump, make sure to check the shaft is spinning freely. In this case, you're sure that the shaft is coupled now with the pump. Now, put the securing nut and also the fan. Notice that we installed the fan when the motor is already in position to prevent it from damaging during lifting off and lowering it down. Now, after tightening all four securing nuts, you can now connect all the supply line to your connector box. Make sure to wire them what it was before to prevent it from spinning in other direction. Make sure that all connections are tight and free from each other to prevent any fault like line to line fault and line to ground fault. After connecting all wires, now you can install the cover. Make sure it's all tight properly to prevent any condensation or moisture to the connector box. And there you have it. I hope you enjoy and learn something from this video, guys. Thank you for watching. God bless.
I remember when we were staring photos.